Hi everyone, Mr. Peabody here. I'm going to talk to you about the differences between Australia and New Zealand. And I know we're considered like sister countries, but it'd be like saying that America is a sister country with Mexico or Canada. And you know that even though you're right next door, you are completely separate countries. Australia and New Zealand are not right next door. We are separated by an expanse of ocean. We just happen to be geographically roughly in the same area. Anyway, I went to New Zealand. When was it? It was around the 2001. I went to New Zealand and I was invited across there by a girl I was talking to online, and sort of like we had like a bit of a relationship, and I went to New Zealand and I flew from Perth to Sydney. Sydney is, I know it's in my country, but Sydney sucks, especially International Airport. It's really not a great place to be. But anyway, so I went from Perth to Sydney and then flew from Sydney to Palmerston North in the North Island of New Zealand. And flying in, we were sort of like chasing the sun because, sun goes from east to west. We were sort of like chasing the sun. But actually, that's not right. Yeah, actually, no, it is right. Chasing the sun, because we were going towards the sun. But flying into Palmerston North was really an amazing thing because I was awake. The flight was different. I actually had a really great seat where I had plenty of legroom. I was in one of those seats that was next to the door, just in case everybody has to pile out. So I had plenty of leg room, and I was the only person in my row. There was no other person there. So I had the row to myself, and I had plenty of leg room. I was a happy camper. um, but the funny thing is like during the flight, a girl came and sat next to me. Um, and we had a great conversation the whole way. But the reason why she came and sat next to me is because the guy she was sitting next to was giving her a hard time. Not a hard time as in a bad time, but he was hitting on her the whole time. So she actually got out of her seat and she came and sat next to me and talked to me the whole flight. And then, funnily enough, he actually got out of his seat and followed her and sat down in the same row. So it's like, so I had nobody sitting next to me, and then I had a girl sitting next to me, and then I had a guy sitting next to her, and my row was full. It's like, what's going on here? Anyway, so she got up and went to the bathroom, and I just told him and said like, hey man, I'm sorry, but she does not want to want to be around you, so you can just piss off. And he did. But it's like he chased her around the plane. It's like, how ridiculous is that? Anyway, flying into Palmerston North was amazing because, um, you know, um, New Zealand is known as the land of the long white cloud. That's completely true because as you descend in the plane into New Zealand, all you get is cloud, 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 and when you break through the cloud, all of a sudden you can see all the cars on the road and all the street lights, and you think, "Holy shit, we are low." uh, it was just amazing. It's like you go through cloud, 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 and all of a sudden you can see the whole city, and it's like, "Holy crap, we're low." And so you fly into Palmerston North. Got picked up. I got picked up, and then I got taken to Wellington. Now, Wellington is the tail end of the North Island. So we went down to Wellington, and then we moved back up to Palmerston North, and so just sort of like amazing sort of memories. Mainly flying in and flying out, because landing back in Perth, that was a bit of a drama too. But what is New Zealand like? It's cold, it's wet, and the wind and the rain is always sideways. Never down, always sideways. And uh, the people, depending on who you're talking to, um, some of the people are fantastic, but a lot of the people did not like the fact that I was Australian. I don't know why. I think there's like some sort of mistrust between Australians and New Zealanders. I think that's something to do with Australian tourists that have been in New Zealand and did not do the right thing. That could be the problem. But yeah, they did not like the fact that I was Australian, and they didn't even even if they didn't talk to me, if they knew I was Australian, they would not talk to me. Um, Other people, they didn't care. They'd talk to me, and we'd have a great time. Yeah, but some of them really didn't like the fact that I was Australian. Uh, New Zealand has Maori tribes, and that's a very, very strong connection, and it's very family orientated. I wouldn't. You could classify it as a gang, but I wouldn't. It's a tribe, and it's a family tribe. So, uh, but if they don't like you for any reason whatsoever, that's it. You're out. I was only there, and I didn't cause any problems, and I didn't ruffle any feathers. But for some reason, a young Maori group did not like me, and they were giving me a hard time for a while, until one of their elders actually stepped in and took me under his wing and said, "Just tell him that I'm your kuru." Kuru is like your elder, and I didn't have to say anything. I didn't have to say, "Oh, yeah, he's my kuru." I didn't have to say anything like that. The word got out, and they left me alone. Um, and basically, no one else bothered me. Um, so if you've got a kuru, you're pretty much in good hands. um, New Zealand is a beautiful place. It really is, but the weather really does suck. So I don't care how much you like Middle Earth and The Lord of the Rings. The weather is not great. Beautiful country. I mean, absolutely stunning country, and you will see things that you won't see anywhere else. Honestly, uh, it, it's amazing to actually look out your window and in the distance see a volcano. Um, it's got an ice cap on it and blah blah blah, but it's an actual active volcano, and you can look out the window and see a volcano. It's like, and we don't have any of those in Australia. We don't have any volcanoes. Uh, Working in New Zealand, that was different because I just walked off the street and said, "Oh, do you need someone to work?" And that night, I was working. The taxation system in New Zealand is a little bit different, and see, you've got in Australia you've got a tax file number. In New Zealand, you've got like a registration number as well, and you have to apply for that, and then you actually go through their tax system, and it's it's funky, but the fact is, it's a different country. So, should I expect it to be like Australia? Not really. So, it's their paperwork. Um, but for the most part, people were, you know, embracing, but a lot on the majority side, they did not want me there. As soon as they found out I was Australian, they were not happy, and they were very distrusting. But as I said, I've already tackled that one because I'm assuming that they just had bad experiences with other Aussies. But that's like anywhere in the world. It's like you can't judge a person on other people. Judge them on what they're doing. And what else do I want to say about New Zealand? Oh, the flight home was fun. Where we came back into Perth, because Perth is known for crosswinds. So when the plane came into land, it flew in sideways. And when we touched down, we only landed half the plane. The other half of the plane was still flying. so, so, so it was like a bit of a bounce as you go. And the fact is, that was a long flight because that was from Auckland all the way to Perth. It was a non-stop flight, and the whole flight was boring, except for the last 5 minutes. The last 5 minutes were amazing, and I said to my brother because he picked me up at the airport, I said, "Did you see the landing?" And he goes, "Hell yeah, we saw all of that." It's like we're coming in sideways and we're bouncing off the runway. That was fun. Anyway, see ya.